The following is a Tony Lasano podcast, an Opie show on the Radio Misfits Podcast Network. This is Free Kicks. So, Adam, I think people were wondering what happened to us last week.
Yes.
Were you wondering?
I was wondering what did happen to us last week.
Well, just to set the stage for how hot it was here last week, it was so hot that Tony Lasano's studio overheated, and he was unable to put our show together. So we did not do the show last week. That's how hot it was. I'll tell you another. I'll give you another example. I went to see Guns N' Roses last week.
Okay. Yeah.
At Wrigley Field. And because I'm such a cheapo, I never pay for parking there. It's like $50 or $60. That's, I'm not paying that. I already paid for the ticket.
Sure.
So I park past the area where there's no parking restrictions, which is about 2 miles away. And then I walked the 2 miles in 105-degree heat. Got to the game, and I was so overheated that I had to go in the bar. And I had to go in the bar.
You did.
And cool off.
Course.
And then I missed the opening act. I missed the Pretenders as the opening act.
Oh, the Pretenders were there too.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good concert. Yeah, that's good. Now, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Was your wife with you? Did she walk with you for the tour?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, because you might be walking out of the house if that was going to happen. So I was just double checking.
I might have learned a valuable lesson that day. I might have learned a valuable lesson. All right, well, we have another subject to talk about, and that is soccer. So it is time for Free Kicks.
And now, Free Kicks. Free Kicks with Illinois Youth Soccer Association's Director of Coaching, Adam Howarth, and Rick Kemper.
So on our last show, we went through all the changes that have happened, various different teams. We went through the first 10 teams in alphabetical order. We're going to go through the second half this week. But Adam told me something right before we started taping that is kind of taking the wind out of me. I feel like I've just walked from 2 miles away to a Guns N' Roses show in 100-degree heat. Because we're going to start with Liverpool, which is my team, which is off to a good start. They've got 2 wins and a draw. And tell everyone what you just told me.
Yeah, I mean, so there was a lot of speculation, and again, just speculation that our man, Mr. Mo Salah, who's obviously been the leading scorer for Liverpool for the last 5-6 years, if not longer, has been contacted by one of the Saudi teams, Al Hilal, and been offered a ridiculous amount of money, something in the region of over $170 million. So he would basically make more in one day than he does in a whole week for Liverpool. So I think obviously it makes sense. He's from the region, from the area. So there's obviously that draw to it. We'll have to wait and see if this actually happens. But I'm now hearing that it might be off. It might be a delay, but we've got till Friday to see what happens. Although I did see this, the Saudi, their timeline is a little later. So players could still be transferred up to September the 20th, which is not great. But we shall see. Sorry, Rick. Bad news.
You're going to have to carry on without me. I'm sorry.
I thought I lost you. I thought I lost you there.
I just went down. All right. Well, I guess we got to carry on. All right. So let's talk about some of the other changes that have happened at Liverpool. Because they had a pretty good off season, other than the potential death of the team. They did sign McAllister from Brighton. And the guy from Leipzig.
You don't want to pronounce his name? I'm not going to pronounce Yeah, that's fine.
Now they lost some other people too. They lost quite a few. They lost Jordan Henderson, who's been their captain for years. Fabinho is gone. Firmino is gone. Keita, James Milner, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. These are names that have been around for a long time. But I still think, after watching them the first few games this year, that they look better than they did last year.
Yeah, good. I mean, a heck of a recovery from on Saturday. I think it was Sunday, maybe Sunday. When they played Newcastle, when they were down a goal, 10 men, and come back and win it 2-1. Darwin Núñez comes off the bench, so maybe he's the new Messiah that's going to take him to the Neverland. So, but yeah, what a great result for them. Off to a good start. Whether or not they can do it, we'll see. We'll see.
You're really shaking me on this Mo Salah thing. It's really, I was in such a good place. Yeah. Oh, well.
Like I said, I mean, we want to stick with the facts.
Yeah.
We want to be as objective, and this is still speculation.
Right.
It was quite heavy speculation before the game.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. People weren't sure if he was going to play or not, but he obviously did. He set up a second goal. It's all right. I don't think he'll go personally, but it's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, and it'd be hard to criticize him for it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Put it this way. If someone came to you, Rick, and said, here's $170 million, would you take it?
Yeah, I might. I might.
Probably. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about some of the other clubs. Luton Town. Yeah. Oh, and before we get off of Liverpool, the fact that Virgil van Dijk got a red card, straight red, that means he's out for the next 3 games, right?
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah,
okay,
that's right. Down a man. Yeah, exactly. Tough one.
So, yeah.
You're having a bad day, aren't you?
I really am.
It's like,
All right, Luton Town. This is the new team that has come up. I think we can, after watching them twice, I'm not expecting them to stay up, but
I think I've been pretty convinced that they're going to be going down. Absolutely.
It's kind of a neat story that they came up for their one season. You know what I mean? They're getting their stadium renovated, and they did sign Ross Barkley came aboard from Nice. Seems like this is his 14th different team he's playing for in the Premiership. But what do you think about Luton Town? Not going to happen, is it?
No, there's nothing there. I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch their first home game because they had to, like I said, they lost their first game because they didn't have their field ready, their setup. Now it's going to be in better shape. It only holds 10,000 people. My goodness. I mean, there's 10,000 Newcastle fans go to away games. So I don't know how that's going to work. But we'll see. It'll be an interesting game to watch. They are scheduled to play on Friday this next week. So be worth a watch for sure, just to see the stadium.
Do the fans still have to go through somebody's garden to get to the stadium?
Yeah, well, it's basically called the Oak. I think it's the Oak Street entrance. And so what they have to, the houses are on top. You go underneath the houses. It's almost like the houses are over the top of it, and then you go through the bottom, and then you go back up on the other side of the houses. So it's bizarre. It's one of the most bizarre things. So, but you can see how people have to climb up to go over on the other side, and then they get in the stadium. So it's crazy.
Well, let's talk about the two Manchester teams because those are both interesting stories. Manchester City, of course, no surprise, won all 3 games. They got 9 points. Yeah. They did lose a couple of people. They lost Mahrez. He's gone to Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gundogan, who was their captain last year, is at Barcelona. So those are big losses, and yet. Doesn't look like they've really missed a beat, does it?
No. They picked up Kovacic from Chelsea, who I absolutely loved, and Barriol from Leipzig. Yeah, they're going to be fine. I mean, it just keeps on coming. They've got a goal scorer in Haaland. They got Foden. They got Grealish. They got De Bruyne, although he's out injured for a little while. I mean, that's the thing. You lose probably arguably one of the best players in the league, and they're still just as good.
There was a moment in the game last weekend where they were tied, and it looked like they may actually drop some points. But then 3 minutes later, they scored.
That's it. Yeah. That's what champions do. That's what champions do. Find a way to win. They're going to be certainly there or thereabouts, as they say.
Right. All right. So I think we're agreed on that. Manchester United, on the other hand, they do have decent results so far. They've got 2 wins and a loss. But they haven't looked very good, have they?
No.
I've watched them twice, and I was like, not much there.
Yeah, they seem to be better, a little bit more organized last year than what they are this year. And maybe that's because of some of the new players that they have in trying to kind of moving people around. Obviously, they got Onana, the goalkeeper. He's the new goalkeeper that came in. We got recalled to the Cameroon squad. And they got just little pieces here and there. Mason Mount, although he's already gone out injured, he came in from Chelsea.
Right.
So I think they're still trying to figure things out. I think there's going to probably be a few people that leave. Harry Maguire's probably going to, I'm hearing West Ham are probably going to sign him before the end of the week. Dean Henderson might be going out on loan again somewhere. And Scott McTominay, I don't know if you heard this one, Bayern Munich, of all places.
Really?
So, so we'll see. So there's a few there, but it just seems like you're not quite clicking. Bruno Fernandes is a great player. I just don't see him as a captain.
No.
I just don't know.
He's too much of a hothead.
If he's the right guy. I mean, so they really don't have that true leader person in the middle that kind of takes care of business. So see how it goes. And
they lost a couple other players that we mentioned the new goalie, but that means David De Gea is gone, right?
Yeah.
Fred is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Fred's kind of been a fixture there for a few years, although I was never a huge fan. Did he go to Saudi Arabia too?
Yes, I believe he did. Yeah,
I think he did. Yeah. So that's a team to watch. They still have a ton of talent, and I think their coach is pretty good. Their manager, and so they'll probably be near the top at the end of the season. But right now, it's a little rusty.
Yeah, and they got Rasmus Holland, who signed in from Denmark, who's a big, strong striker, although he's been injured. So they got a few little injury issues they're trying to deal with, but. Yeah, they'll be top 6.
Okay, well, let's talk about another team that was top 6 last year. That's Newcastle. They signed Harvey Barnes from Leicester. They brought in Tonali from AC Milan. He's looked pretty good. But they lost fan favorite Saint Maximum to Saudi Arabia. Chris Wood went to Nottingham Forest. What are your thoughts? They've got to win in 2 losses. Now their 2 losses were to Liverpool and Man City.
True.
Right. So
True.
there's no shame in those.
No, definitely a tough start to the schedule. Yeah. I mean, the Liverpool loss was a bit sour because they were obviously up a man and a goal.
True.
So that was a tough one. And Man City, there's certainly no. They played them hard and strong. I mean, they're definitely going to be up there. They've had some good signings, like you mentioned. I think the players that they have are definitely going to help them. They're going to be. They're definitely a top 6 team for sure. It'll be interesting to see how they're able to juggle the Champions League as well. Right. How they can manage that. Do they have enough depth in their squad to be able to deal with that? That's going to be a challenge for them. But they're going to be. Again, a team that's going to be top 6, maybe top 4 might be a bit of a stretch, but certainly in the top 6.
All right. Nottingham Forest is a team that came up last year, managed to stay barely. They have an American goalkeeper now, Matt Turner.
Yeah, that's right.
They also brought in Chris Wood, we mentioned, and Anthony Elanga. They lost Jesse Lingard. He went away. Cafu was gone. I don't know. This team looks a little bit better, I think, than last year. I've watched them play once. They do have a win and 2 losses, but what are your thoughts on them?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, they've got the leading scorer in the league in Wanwi as well. He scored 3 goals. They're certainly scoring more goals. I've heard that Brennan Johnson, the Welsh striker, he might be a player that might be on the lookout for somewhere else. I've heard that even somebody like Man United might be looking at him too. I think they've got enough depth there. They've actually got Ethan Horvath, another American goalkeeper. So they actually have 2 American goalkeepers in their pool of players. I like the team. Obviously, the coach has been there, done that. He was the under-20 England coach when they won the World Cup, the under-20 World Cup. So he's gonna organise them pretty well. I think they're going to be a team that's going to be pretty solid mid-table, I would think.
Yeah, I think so too. Sheffield United, on the other hand, has had a rough return. They're 0 for 3. They signed Trusty from Arsenal, but I don't really see a lot of. Obviously, you're coming up from the Championship, so a lot of teams when they come up a league, they sign a bunch of new players. They didn't really do that, did they?
No, they didn't. That's going to be the concern. I mean, there's a lot of players that were there when they were in the league previously. Like you said, there's not much there. Trusty, obviously, we're going to follow him. Ryan Brewster, if you remember him,
right.
He was with Liverpool. That was a big signing they had a few years ago. He's still there, but really just is there. Hasn't really made a huge impact, and I think that's probably sad. They do have a Traore, so that's always a good sign. There's 1,000 of them. There's a lot of Traores, but they got that. So I think they're going to be probably in that bottom 6. They're going to be fighting hard to stay up.
Yeah, I agree. Now, I think maybe the biggest surprise of the offseason is Tottenham, which lost their best player ever, Harry Kane. And yet, as we sit here, 3 games into the season, they've already got 2 wins and a draw. They're right there near the top, and they've been looking pretty good. Now, they've got, James Maddison. They brought him aboard, and he's looked great so far. They've got Vicario from Empoli. They've got Kulusevski from Juventus.
Mm-hmm.
Porro came from Sporting. So, I mean, they did bring a lot of people in. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, again, a team that's kind of maybe overachieving even right now. I think the new manager, Ange Postecoglou, I believe that's how you want to say it. I mean, we've got some tough names to pronounce.
Yeah, we sure do.
But he has certainly transformed the team. Had a great result against Bournemouth. Bournemouth, again, is, probably mid to lower level team.
True.
But the Maddison was absolutely sensational for him. So that's been a massive, massive signing for them. He's been thrust in there. I think it's a team that's looking fairly good right now. They're looking like they got a lot of confidence and playing good soccer. I think that's what the fans want to see. They're excited to see what they're doing. They're out shooting teams.
That's your favorite team, right, Tottenham? Isn't that?
I absolutely love them.
Okay.
Yeah, they were one of my favorites. Mm-hmm. So overachieving, I think, right now.
Yeah,
but they'll be taking on Chelsea here in a couple of weeks. So we'll see how good they are.
Okay, sounds good. 2 more teams, and I think this next one here is kind of a surprise too, and that's West Ham, who is off to a great start.
Amazing start.
They're like a yo-yo, right? 2 years ago they had that great season, and then last year they were terrible. 2 years before that they were terrible, and this year it looks like they might be good, despite losing, I think, maybe their best player last season, which was Declan Rice.
Right.
But they did bring in my guy, James Ward-Prowse.
Oh, yes. Super. Made an impact already with his corner kicks and his free kick, scored a goal. Yeah, I think he's definitely going to help them. I think, again, realistically, mid-table.
Yeah,
well supported. But they're always off to a good start. We'll see how it works out, because what happens is Antonio scores a couple of goals early and then he gets injured. That's typically what happens during the course of the season. And I'm sure most West Ham fans will say the same thing. They had a great result against Chelsea.
Yep.
So they got the goals that they needed. They're always going to probably find a way to score now. And I think with James Ward-Prowse and his free kicks, corner kicks, and sometimes some goals in open play, he's only going to make West Ham even more familiar as to what they do. So, but they do have some strong players in Paqueta, who's the Brazilian there, who can certainly change the game, and Jared Bowen as well.
That's true. And then the last team, alphabetically speaking, is the Wolves. They lost a bunch of players. In fact, basically all of their players. I go through the list here. Connor Cody, Nathan Collins, Raul Jimenez, Ruben Neves, Diego Costa, Matinho, Traore. Those are all pretty big losses. And then they signed Matt Doherty. That's all I have here. Am I missing anybody?
No, you're right. They haven't really signed anybody at all, and they may end up losing one of their top players right now in Nunes, Matheus Nunes. I guess he's trying to push a move to Manchester City.
Oh,
so that's going to be... I thought you were going to say
Saudi Arabia.
No, Manchester City are keen after him. The Portuguese, obviously, have a strong Portuguese contingent. They've got a good goalkeeper in Jose Sarr. But you're right, they really didn't bring anybody in. And so, again, they've got a new manager, which is, potentially helpful. He did well with Bournemouth last year, Gary O'Neill. But
they do look like they have a solid defense, right?
Yeah. Good goalkeeper. Jose Sarr is a good goalkeeper. Doherty, obviously Irish international. They've got players there. Max Kilman, who's been there, he's now the captain. Who played in my old neck of the woods at Maidenhead United back in the day. So from where I grew up, but he's now the captain of the team. Yeah. That gives you an idea of how many players they've left, and so
you just can't see where the goals are going to come from on this.
No, roster. That's going to be the issue, isn't it? I think they definitely need some type of a striker to come in. They've only got a few days left to get somebody in, but they do need somebody quick.
Well, speaking of strikers, before we go to your free kicks commercial, we talked about this before we started, and that was Everton, who has 0 for 3 so far with 0 goals scored, has signed somebody. Tell us about that.
Yes, Portuguese striker Beto from the Italian side Udinese for up to £30 million. He's 25, 6'4" striker. He only scored 10 goals last year, but in the Italian league, 10 goals in the Italian league is like 20 everywhere else. So because they don't score many goals, but he's a player that they need. I mean, like we talked a little bit about this before. They're creating chances. They just got nobody who can put the ball in the back of the net. So maybe this is the guy that can do it.
Yeah.
And, his idol was Samuel Eto'o. So there you go. If you can play like him, they're going to be okay.
Okay. Free Kicks is brought to you by the Illinois Youth Soccer Association.
Illinois Youth Soccer is proudly serving the Illinois soccer community since 1975 and has a strong history of credibility. Illinois Youth Soccer is a non-profit corporation, official state association and charter member of the U.S. Soccer Federation, administers U.S. Soccer Federation coaching programs, administers U.S. Soccer Federation the Olympic Development Program, and U.S. Soccer Federation referee programs. For more information, go to illinoisyouthsoccer.org and check out our quarterly coaches meeting coming up next week on Wednesday, September the 6th.
And that means donuts, everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's one thing I've learned over the years of doing this show with you. All right, it's time for your favorite feature.
Time now to guess the Premier League star.
All right, so this week's star is a veteran. He's been around for a long time. He's 29 years old, so there's no chance that you don't know who this is. All right? He is playing professionally in his 4th different country. He's one of those vagabonds who wanders from country to country. The other countries he's played in professionally are Spain, Italy, and his home country. All right. He is a central midfielder. His home country is not England. Right.
Okay. Well, thanks for the clue there.
Yeah. He is with his second Premier League club right now. He's a new signing with his current club, and he's probably pretty excited because he's going from a mid-table also ran from last season, who played an insipid season, and he's now on a team that's in the Champions League. So he's got to be pretty happy.
Okay, all right. Mm-hmm. So would this player be from Croatia, by any means?
He would be? Oh, my gosh, I think you've cracked my code.
Really? So and we talked a little just briefly about him, and I think I have an idea of who this might be. And I think he's definitely going to be a massive influence. Is this player Mateo Kovacic?
It is. Wow. How did you guess that?
Hey.
I'm not going to.
If you would have just said, if you would have said his country, it would have been even quicker. That's all you got to do.
I'm not going to be able to do this very often, because I've watched Chelsea a few times already. They're not going to be mid-table this year. They'll be up there.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I've got my little window of opportunity, and then you'll be able to do the same to me very soon as Mo Salah leaves.
That's right. You'll be back to mediocrity. Yeah, exactly.
I will.
So I dealt with it last year.
I will say, when I became a Liverpool fan, they were very mediocre. So it'll be comforting almost in some ways.
Yeah, and being a Cubs fan, you're used to mediocrity.
Exactly.
So, and I'm a Chelsea, and to be fair, before Abramovich, Chelsea was mediocre as well. So I lived my youth was mediocrity, so I was quite used to it.
Okay, well, there we go. It's time for this.
Now time for Adam's Weekend Soccer TV Tip.
All right, I'm back in the groove. I'm looking forward to Saturday and Sunday mornings. And I just loving it. Tell me what I can't miss this coming weekend.
Yeah, and here's the thing. We start on Friday again. We've got a league game on Friday. So it starts Friday afternoon, Luton's first home game. So I think people will need to tune in for that one to see that one. So, and this was a tough one because, I think everybody's going to go straight to Arsenal Man United, right?
Right.
Good game. No, I don't really want to watch that. I don't think it's the game of the week. But you know what I think is the game of the week is two teams that are in decent form all of a sudden. Even after Aston Villa's thumping in their first game, they've come back and won 2 in a row. 4th versus 7th, Liverpool in 4th, Aston Villa in 7th. I think you're going to have to get up at 8 a.m. to watch this one on Sunday. Liverpool versus the Villains.
Yeah.
Should be a really good one, straight from Anfield. Should be a great match. I'm looking forward to that. And with or without Salah.
Or Van Dijk. I mean,
definitely Van Dijk's out for sure.
Yeah, that actually could be a good game. Villa always plays Liverpool tough as it is. I know this because my texts go exploding.
You'll get a lot of
the Aston Villa fan.
You're going to get a lot of texts on that one, especially now with it being game of the week. I'll be interested to see what's the percentage of wins for Villa when they have been game of the week, because we've been definitely giving them a lot of game of the weeks lately.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
All
right, I definitely will get up for that one. For once. Free Kicks is brought to you by Green White Soccer Club, a club that has been around now for nearly 70 years, providing excellent soccer opportunities for the Chicagoland area. Go to greenwhitesoccer.org. All right, we have thanks to handout. Special thanks to our executive producer, Tony Lasana. Hopefully his studio is back in operating condition. Tony with opishows.com. Opie is hippo backwards, OPPIA shows.com. We're distributed by Ed Silla with Radio Misfits. Great Talk Radio isn't dead. They just moved to a better place, radiomisfits.com. And we'll be back again next week for another episode of Free Kicks. The preceding was a presentation of Opie Productions. Find our other great shows wherever you find podcasts, including opishows.com. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of Opie Productions.
Tony, can you shut up?